first wholesale deal was pretty easy, honestly. I didn't do all of the traditional means of acquiring the property. Used one of the methods that's probably the most efficient method, which is driving for dollars. This just so happened to be in my neighborhood that I grew up in. The date was September 25th, 2020. I'll show a picture right now of the house. So that house was completely gutted on the inside. As you could see on the outside, it wasn't anything special as well. I apologize if I have a lisp. It's because I have my Invisalign in. Still not used to them yet. But the house was completely gutted to the studs on the inside. I mean, all the drywall, all the installation, everything completely ripped down to the studs. And we wholesaled that still. So I say that because I have individuals who talk to me and ask me questions about wholesaling, and they think their house that they're trying to wholesale is in too bad of condition, and they think they can't wholesale it. But like I just said, that house was total disarray. The story on that house, this person lived across the street from my mom and dad. Shout out to this chick, because I found out that the guy, which was her great grandfather, passed away. So I waited a couple weeks. I reached out to her. I gave her my spiel, my script of how I buy houses, blah, 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 blah. At that time, she said no, she was not interested in selling. She wanted to keep the property, fix it, and flip it, essentially. So I think a few weeks go by, maybe even a couple months, I'm not sure anymore. She calls me and she's like, hey, do you still want to buy that house? I'm like, of course. Let's do it, because I'm still trying to wholesale at that time, but I'm doing like cold calling and a whole bunch of other methods, and I got a couple of other properties at that time under contract, no deal done yet. So she lets me come and see the house, and like I said, it was completely gutted. Her grandfather was a hoarder, so there was like mold and stuff. It was terrible. I had videos of all of that when I walked through the house, everything, but for whatever reason, I just checked it and I don't have any of that footage anymore. And I'm so disappointed, because I wanted to document that and show whoever wanted to see it, whatever. Walk through the property, I'm doing my thing, saying, and again, this is my first wholesale deal, so I'm still new to it. But at that time, I had done so much research. I knew exactly how to take the property down and get it done. But very nervous, because I'm like, man, this is a great deal. I don't want to fumble this opportunity and have somebody else come get it. So I'm nervous, but I'm still trying to act like I know what I'm doing. At the end of the walkthrough, we start talking, and she gives me her number. Man, I'm terrible with my memory, guys. That's why I have a virtual assistant, other people who help me, because my memory is trash. But I believe she wanted $10,000 for it. I talked her down to, I believe, like 7,000 and some change. She agreed on that. So I'm like, okay, perfect, cool. I listed it on Facebook, Craigslist, some other places. For those who don't know how this process works, I can make a video on how to wholesale from A to Z. I'm not gonna go too far in depth, because this video is just to give you the story. But listed it, did my marketing for it. Immediately my phone was going crazy. And if you're in this industry, you know that when your phone starts to go crazy after you posted a deal, then you know you have a surefire deal. You're finna get paid. And so I'm excited. Heart's racing. I'm like, this is crazy. First deal, big bread. I was looking to try to wholesale it and make like 15K on it. The guy who came and bought it, his name was Miguel. We walked through the house. And again, this is another perfect situation, because the house was vacant, and she just left the back door open for me and allowed me to let buyers walk through the house without ever having to contact her. She knew exactly what I was doing with it. She knew that I was bringing investors through the house, and we were going to invest in it. So then me and Miguel came to an agreement, and I think we closed on that house. I think it took us 2 weeks. From the moment I signed the paperwork with her, it took 2 weeks, and we closed that thing. Usually, sometimes it may take 30 days, but Miguel had the money. He was ready to go, and I think we would have closed even sooner, but there's an issue where he went to Chicago to go to some bank to get a check, but it didn't. Something happened at the first time that we tried to close that he had to go back to Chicago, so it delayed a week. But anyway, long story short, we closed the deal, and this is how much I made. I'll show a picture right here. And man, let me tell you, after I sat there at the closing table and closed that deal, it was proof of concept that this is possible, and that there's no going back after this. There's no way in hell that I can ever not do for myself or grind for myself anymore. No job at that time had ever paid me $9,000, ever. No job ever will pay me $9,000 at one time. So it was one of those things that, like, you break the ceiling of belief, but then you land on top of that ceiling. It's like, it's hard, because I still work for, I still work for people now, and I love my job. but it's hard to ever be complacent, settle when you've had deals like that. And those who know, and entrepreneurs who've done for themselves know exactly what I mean. It's a different world once you have done something like that for yourself. And, you know, after that, it's like the grind continues. So we had the closing table, made the money. I sat there and looked at that check for a while. I took my family out. We went and had a little bit, celebrated that win a little bit. We went and got some food and drinks. Nothing crazy at all. But you know, you have to sit there and appreciate that moment, because nobody in my family has ever known anything about real estate. Nobody taught me this. I took it upon myself during the beginning of the pandemic to study, take action, and get it done. Nobody did it for me. So I was very happy, very excited. It was a couple of days after my daughter's birthday, which made it even more special. After that, I did a handful of other deals. Even just thinking about it right now, because I have not sat here and kind of thought about that first deal in a while. So just thinking about it is still kind of crazy to me. I walked my parents through the house, showed them it. They could not believe what the hell I was doing. They didn't. And you'll see once you start doing wholesaling and you start trying to tell other people, they will not understand what you're saying. And they will always say like, oh, so you have your real estate license. No, I don't. And you don't have to have your real estate license. Now in Illinois, you do. You can only do one deal per year unless you have your license. The entire nation is starting to regulate it now, because there's so many people in this information era where they're learning this and they're knocking out 10 deals a month, you know, making a lot of money. Average Joes like me doing it, 2, 3, 4 deals a month that are all big bread or whatever. Then you got people who may have had a rough life in the beginning and made some poor choices, served time in jail, got out, and now their career is wholesaling and they are thriving. So they're regulating things now, which is fine. Good thing is you don't have to do it in Illinois. If you're in Illinois, you can wholesale virtually. That's a whole nother video. I have a couple virtual wholesale deals as well. They were smaller ones. I can make a video on that as well. But I'm trying not to forget anything before I move on. This video is nothing but a story and a little bit of motivation for those who are looking to wholesale or looking to become entrepreneurs, period, and do for yourself, because nobody out here is going to do it for you. Always remember that. I remember manifesting that into existence. That I learned about wholesaling. I said, I can do this. I'm going to do this. And I did it. And man, it's just been a wild journey ever since then. I've had times where I did 2 deals in a month. I've had some opportunity to position myself to close like a $50,000 deal, and I messed it up. I did not close it, and it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, I'm not, I learned from it. And when the time is right, like I said, if you have not watched my previous videos, I've been in an academy and in a firefighter probationary period. So all my focus has been on firefighting and getting my probation settled for an entire year. Now that I'm coming to an end of that time and all my energy, mental capacity for that, I am now shifting myself to get back into entrepreneurship. And I promise you, you will see my next deal on this channel. I'm going to walk you through exactly how I'm doing the deal, profits, everything. That's going to be next. So yeah, I don't want to make this too long. It's already 11 minutes long until I chop it up, but that's all I got, man. Story time of how I got my first deal. If you guys have any questions on how I did it, contracts, closing, what I said to the seller, what I said to the buyer, anything like that, comment below. Let me know, and I will hit you back and give you the game, give you the nuggets, man. Like I said, I don't withhold information. I believe in abundance. There's enough for everybody to eat. What that reminds me, I have a couple friends who are in real estate and kind of have guided me a little bit. When I have questions, I hit them up, they answer. Young guys, and they're killing in the game. And so no excuses, man. I don't believe in excuses. Get your ass up. Do whatever you have to do. You are the author to your own book, and that's it. So signing off. That's all I got. More content coming soon, man. Subscribe, like, share this with whoever is trying to wholesale or whoever's trying to become an entrepreneur, man. Thanks.